Morning, we have Coach Jeff Olson. Jeff, thanks for joining us this morning.
My pleasure.
Your son's suicide, Daniel, sort of took a lot of people who thought they knew him by surprise. And I think what's important is to remember he was such an incredible young man. Could you tell us a little bit about Daniel's life?
Yeah, Daniel was just, the perfect, all around kid. Well, obviously we're biased, but,
yeah.
Very humorous.
Yeah.
Could joke around, wicked sense of humor, very popular. People had all kinds of friends,
Yeah.
great athlete, somebody that you just wouldn't think would be suffering inside from this type of medical illness. So, it's interesting along the way how much we've been educated about this, and that it doesn't matter what you look like on the outside, it's what's going on inside. But he was a joy to be around. Like I said, tons of friends, and somebody you would not think would be suffering.
Now, you were telling me, and I know that your documentary is going to delve into this a lot more than what we can right now, but that you said you were fortunate because at some point he did start opening up about what was going on. Not all parents have that.
And that's why we can do this, because we're so proud of him, the way he fought. And, we believe he fought for 8 years, but really came forward the last 3 years of his life. And we know he was struggling a lot before that. Really contemplated suicide a couple years before he came forward. That would have even been more tragic, because so many people, are suffering. They end up taking their lives when their loved ones had no clue. And, death, grief, suicide, it's so hard as it is, but when you add the factor that what did we, if people are blaming themselves, what did we do wrong, what did we miss? I wouldn't be able to be doing this if he would have completed suicide before we didn't know.
Sure, and this kind of mental illness, it changes everybody involved. And what are some of the things that parents maybe can starting a conversation with their kid, even if they think there's nothing wrong?
Right.
What can you do to get things started on that?
Dialogue, conversation, and that's why we're doing this too, because we want people to get ahead of the stigma and feel confident in coming forward and asking for help. We want people to understand they're not alone, and that there is hope. There is a diagnosis for this medical illness. So there's that stigma around that you're crazy, you're weak if you're suffering. It's really not that. It's a medical illness of the brain. Doctors just don't happen to know as much about the brain as other organs. So, there's a lot of things that can be done. There's not a one pill fits all type of thing. We want to explain that in the documentary. So, we're just trying to tell a story, educate people, and then, hopefully everybody will be more understanding. A dialogue will be started, so it's easier to come forward.
Sure. Now, obviously, it's hard to take a whole life and put it in, and not just Daniel's life, but how the team really came and used him for a rallying point afterwards.
The team, the community.
Sure.
Number one, we're going to try to educate people about mental illness, medical illness. Define it.
Sure.
Try to help people understand what it feels like to have it. Talk about Daniel's life and show people that you wouldn't believe a student like this or a person like this would suffer, and then go into the compassion, the passion, the pride, how people can rally around grief and really help other people.
All right, now the show itself, when's it coming up?
It will be, actually starts tomorrow,
Okay.
August 12th at 7 o'clock at the Peterson Auditorium, hooked on to Ishmeens High School, and then August 13th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
I appreciate you coming and telling us, and I can't express enough how everybody is so proud of you guys for being willing to you're exposing yourself in such a vulnerable way, and we really appreciate that you're going to help future generations by doing this.
Well, that's the goal, and it's tough on our family, but it's something that we believe needs to be told, needs to be out there. So hopefully a lot of people will come and get educated and see a pretty cool story.
All right. Thank you so much, Coach. Don't miss it. Bring your teens and better understand this.